John Donne's 17th century poem reminds us no man is an island, entire of itself. For I am involved in mankind. Therefore, sin not to know for whom the bell tolls, it tolls for thee. In Winchester, Tennessee, Mary Sharp Bell once rang for an institution that viewed itself as a pedagogical pioneer. This temple of learning offered women an education equivalent to their male counterparts. This intellectual temple was established in the most unlikely of places, within the heart of an antebellum society standing on the precipice of ruin, soon to be consumed by the destruction of the Civil War. But what did it mean to inhabit this temple? For the women of Winchester, it meant a sine qua non immersion in a rigorous Greek and Latin curriculum, mandated by the college presidents Z.C. Graves. Now, as the placard beneath this Mary Sharp Bell denotes, this institution was started in 1851 until it rang its last toll in 1896. Now, there we see the submersive motto, learn to think. But what were these women learning? What were they thinking? In 1963, in an effort to preserve Mary Sharp's college legacy, the Franklin County Garden Club installed this commemorative placard and returned the original college bell to the former Mary Sharp grounds. This old Mary Sharp College bell was moved to the school district's first elementary school, Clark Memorial Elementary School, around 1950. Because of overcrowding at Clark Memorial, Franklin County decided to build a new 8-classroom building on the old Mary Sharp grounds. This building would soon become Mary Sharp Elementary. This building would also include a storage room, office suite, kitchen, and cafeteria. During the 1990s, the elementary building underwent significant renovations, including converting the cafeteria into a boardroom. The building became the school district's central office. In 1855, years before the doors of Vassar College opened, Nanny Meredith Embry and Mary Farmer Forbes received the first true Bachelor of Arts degrees ever conferred upon women in America. By 1859, Victoria F. Robertson became the second woman in the nation to receive a Master of Arts. These milestones were the work of two brothers, the crusading J.R. Graves and the scholarly Z.C. Graves. However, before examining these founders, we must ask why the South embraced such an avant-garde approach to female education. Was the intent to produce female politicians, doctors, or lawyers? Simply put, the answer is no. Mary Sharp provided an elite academic experience not to upend the gender hierarchy of the era, but to weaponize education in an effort to mold women according to the domestic virtues of the cult of true womanhood and the civic ideals of Republican motherhood. The mastery of Greek and Latin was intended to elevate a woman's influence within her domestic sphere, ensuring she could legislate wisely over her home and, most crucially, over the minds of her sons. Before J.R. Graves' and Z.C. Graves' educational experiment at Mary Sharp, most people believed that female education was to preserve and cultivate the ornamental character of the female sex. Most female academics focused on a curriculum that taught rudimentary reading and writing alongside needlework, embroidery, drawing, painting, music, poetry, and jewelry making. However, J.R. Graves and Z.C. Graves had a different vision for their female institute. This vision was shaped by their own life experiences and ideology. The Graves brothers' father died when Z.C. was just 5 years old. Both brothers were deeply influenced by their mother, an educated religious woman who epitomized a woman of culture. She taught her children their letters and how to read from the family Bible. J.R. Graves' personal history shaped him into a fierce advocate and great orator who believed that women should have the opportunity for education, and he was largely responsible for the advanced curriculum of Mary Sharp College. On the other hand, Z.C. Graves was a weak child who spent a lot of his time studying. Z.C. was frail and had a weak heart and could not run and play like others, so he spent a lot of his time studying. Z.C. Graves became a Baptist and began teaching district schools at the age of 21. He loved preparing his classrooms for the children and hardly missed a day of school in all his years as a teacher. Before becoming the president of Mary Sharp College, he was a Baptist preacher. However, he believed a voice told him to go teach instead of go preach. Z.C. believed that some were born to teach and that it was for this purpose that he came into this world. Now, both Graves' brothers held on to the same ideologies towards women and their educational abilities. J.R. Graves' motto was educate your sons, they marry educated women, and they were on the same plane. But educate your daughters, and the elevation of the family will follow. For J.R. Graves, educating one's daughter was necessary, even more necessary than educating one's sons. He believed that boys could manage life turmoils without an education. However, girls needed to be prepared for reverses, widowhood, or whatever her lot might be. In the 1840s, J.R. Graves left Vermont and brought these ideas to Winchester, Tennessee. With the help of two locals, Judge Peter Turney and A.S. Kohler, they received a charter from Jackson County, Alabama, and Franklin County, Tennessee, to open the Tennessee and Alabama Ladies Institute, soon calling Z.C. from Ohio to be the president. Z.C. modeled the curriculum for this female institute after Elmhurst College, Brown University, and the University of Virginia. Students were expected to learn advanced mathematics such as algebra, geometry, and trigonometry, as well as Greek, Latin, philosophy, and rhetoric. The Mary Sharp textbook collection contained worn copies of the classical and science curriculum containing Xenophon's Memorabilia, Owen's Homer Odyssey, Bullion's Greek grammar, and the elements of geology. In an effort to preserve the old Mary Sharp College artifacts, the Franklin County Garden Club provided cases to hold important Mary Sharp relics, as these you see here on the screen, including the June 1860 catalog, the 1856 Goodies Lady Book and Magazine, an 1886 autograph album and music medal, as well as these original textbooks. In comparison, Homer's Odyssey and the Greek grammar textbook were also commonly used within the curriculum of Brown University for male students. Moreover, the Mary Sharp College Club of Nashville, Tennessee, which included many alumni of the institution, also preserved the legacies through alumni meetings, as well as donating to the Franklin County Garden Club 50 copies of the Z.C. Graves and Mary Sharp College book. The College Club allowed the Garden Club to sell these copies in an effort to raise money for the memorial fund that was established for the purpose of preserving the memory of Mary. How did the Tennessee and Alabama Ladies Institute change its name? The college had humble beginnings, with lessons taught in the Terman residence and later in a church basement. Seeking to expand, the Board of Trustees promised to name the college after its most generous benefactor. That person soon proved to be Mary Sharp, whose $2,500 gift secured her legacy as the institution's namesake. Mary Sharp was born Mary Corn in Henry County, Virginia. Her father was a Revolutionary War veteran named Jesse Corn. She was the fifth of 10 children. In 1805, Mary married Jesse Moore at the age of 16. He died within 4 years of their marriage. Not long after, she marries James Sharp. At the time of his death, James accumulated a sizable estate. Mary Sharp's niece describes her as a pioneer. Once in charge of her late husband's estate, she frees her slaves and pays for their passages to the colony of Liberia. She is described as a woman who believed in the education of women and had a profound belief in not just the freedom of the body, but of the mind. In an effort to preserve Mary Sharp's gravesite and legacy, the Winchester Historic Preservation Committee, led by Joy Gallagher, raised $1,200 to replace the old broken tombstone of Mary Sharp and provide a new tombstone along with a marker and fence for the gravesite. The Winchester Historic Preservation Committee also added the Mary Sharp Cemetery to the committee's driving tour. The road upon which this cemetery is located, Sharp Springs Road, includes Mary's namesake. These are examples of how important people and places in a community are preserved for future generations. Mary Sharp College achieved national prominence through strategic promotion, most notably in the 1856 edition of the Goodies Ladies Books. This magazine was extremely important to women during the pre-Civil War era, providing women with the latest fashion and cultural trends. As a cornerstone of feminine culture, this magazine championed Mary Sharp College as the par excellence choice for women across the South and the West. It portrayed the institution as a place where a woman could fulfill her divine potential as a thinking, reflecting, reasoning being capable of self-reliance. By showcasing Mary Sharp's motto, educate the mother and you educate the people, Goody's Ladies Book and Magazine propagated the 19th century Republican mother image. This ideology suggested that a woman's civic virtue lay in her ability to raise moral, educated sons, a sentiment that persuaded many Southerners to embrace female education as a means of improving the domestic sphere. Many rising middle-class families prioritized their daughter's schooling regardless of the financial sacrifices. This is evidenced by Miss Daisy Slatter's 1878 receipt showing a formal payment schedule. For many Southerners, higher education for women cultivated the Southern belle, an image that represented white domination in a slave society. Documents such as the 1887 commencement program showed that women from all over the South attended this university. Legacy will be interrupted by the Civil War. By 1862, federal troops targeted Middle Tennessee. After the fall of Fort Donelson, General Rosecrans stopped in Franklin County on his way to Chattanooga. He occupied Mary Sharp, turning it into a hospital for federal troops. His tenure in the county will lead to large portions of the college being destroyed. 2 years after the war, Z.C. Graves will reopen the institution, even working without a salary for years. The nadir of Mary Sharp does not happen overnight. Surviving the physical destruction and societal collapse of the Civil War proved to be difficult for the agrarian's debt. Despite his efforts, Z.C. could not rebuild the shattered walls of his beloved child, nor bring it back to the glory of its founder. In 1905, the Chancery Court of Franklin County declared the college a failure and reestablished it as the first public school of the first public school district of Franklin County. In 1953, the original building that housed Mary Sharp College was demolished and a new building was erected, providing an elementary education for the citizens of Franklin County. Many of the citizens in Franklin County, this author included, attended Mary Sharp Elementary, unaware of its distinguished past. Fortunately, the members of the Chancery Court had the forethought to declare that the building and land of Mary Sharp must forever be used for public school purposes. Were it not for this court declaration and the dedicated preservation efforts of the Mary Sharp College Club, the Franklin County Garden Club, and the Winchester Historic Preservation Committee, the legacy of this institution might have been lost forever. Instead, the history of Mary Sharp College has come full circle. The site of this former women's college now develops the curriculum for. Today, the building houses the Franklin County Board of Education. With this 1905 declaration, Mary Sharp secured its legacy in stone and in spirit. Even though the original Mary Sharpers have long since departed, the bell of Mary Sharp continues to ring in pursuit of educating the people of Franklin County.